What's up, A to Z Sports, live here at the Land Shark Bar and Grill atop Margaritaville on Broadway in downtown Nashville. I'm your host, Easton Freeze, joined by JT Runke. It's a Titans game day pregame. We got 30 minutes to kick off. Titans in Las Vegas looking to get on the board for the second consecutive road win. If they knock off the Raiders today, it would be their first back-to-back wins since November 2020. I think. Yeah. The month after my wedding, I've since embarked on married life, had a child, celebrated that child's first birthday. So I'd love for the Titans to be able to end that streak so I can no longer add any more life milestones to the gap in between back-to-back wins. You know, some teams win back-to-back games twice in the same month. The Titans are trying to do it twice in a span of 3 years. So better late than never if they can do it today. And we're not going to sit here and tell you the Titans are a great team after the way that they won against the Cardinals, but I am going to sit here and tell you if there were ever a time for this Titans team to win back-to-back games against this Raiders team would be the time to do it. You don't get much easier a matchup, albeit a road game, than this one. So a lot to break down here in the pregame. We're going to go through some of our keys to the game, our X-Golf X Factors. We're going to talk through the inactives list that came out about an hour ago. We'll give out some bets. We'll have a good old time before we watch the Titans take on the Raiders. Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, and those boys. But JT, before we get started, tell the folks what they need to do.
Yeah, what's up, A to Z crew? Good to see you before the Titans kickoff at 3:05. Someone said we were late. No, my friend, we go live 30 minutes
Check
before.
your schedule there, boss.
30 minutes before kickoff.
Check the facts real quick, buddy.
But yeah, hey, it's been, like you said, since the Todd Downing game, the Todd Downing DUI games. It's been that long since the Titans have won back-to-back games.
That's right.
And like you said, very, very good chance today. Only a 4-point underdog against the Raiders. Somehow that's a thing that can happen with Vegas sportsbooks.
Hey, here's some inside baseball nobody asked for. I did make sure Nick Holtz is aware of the fact that that's what happened the last time the team won back-to-back games, and told him that if they manage to win this weekend, tomorrow or tonight or whenever they get back, he may not drive himself home.
This is true. All right.
So Nick knows that.
Yeah,
we're good on that front. They need to win first.
We'll talk more about that, but need a couple things from you guys. Make sure like the show. Make sure you get those likes up. Make sure you are subscribed to the A to Z Sports YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of the content we are bringing you today from the Titans and Raiders coverage. Make sure if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you like that show. Make sure you've hit the like button on the Facebook page, and then hit that share button in the bottom right corner. Share it with another Titans fan who is ready for today's matchup against the Raiders. Should be a good one. Let's get going.
Yeah, let's get it started officially. Welcome in to the Titans pregame live here on A to Z Sports Nashville. We are live here on the A to Z Sports Nashville YouTube channel, pre, half, and post game each and every Titans game day. We're live from the Land Shark Bar and Grill on the second floor of Margaritaville on 4th and Broad. Shout out to Traveler Whiskey and Miller Lite for game day drink specials all season long. We've also got a very special Titans ticket giveaway coming up here on one of our, probably not in the pregame show. Maybe you'll have to tune in to the halftime and the postgame show for a chance at those.
Well, you got to show up here.
Excuse me, you're right. True. A chance to see the drawing. You need to be here to get the tickets. There are a number of Titans fans here. Come join them. It's not too late to get in on that. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. We'll tell you about our wonderful and amazing sponsors here at the top of the show real quick before we get into some football talk. X-Golf in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hermitage, and Franklin, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X-Golf, play, train, entertain at playxgolf.com. BTA Sports, use our code ATOZ14, new code, by the way, ATOZ14, or much easier, just use the link in the description to sign up today for a BTA Sports account on the app to get a 14-day free trial before a weekly subscription of $9.99. Use that link in the show description. Botero Carts, life is short. Buy a golf cart with 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and Gallatin. BoteroCarts.com. Lipscomb University Sports Analytics Program. They're turning sports fans into data-driven decision makers in the exciting world of professional athletics. And the Barrel Social Club, the Kentucky Poker Open returns to the Barrel Social Club this month. TheBarrelSocialClub.com is where you can go for more information. And I saw one person very excited in the comments about our betting picks. I promise we will get to the bet picks with 10 to 15 minutes before kickoff so that you can get them in if you want to tail us and make some money. We will do that in plenty of time, I promise. But first, JT, let's take a look at the inactives list for today, courtesy of Buck Rising, our colleague who is on location in Las Vegas. Kicker Joey Sly, we knew that he would be down, ruled out on Friday, so the Titans will be rolling with, is it Matthew Wright?
Yes.
Matthew Wright who kicked for this team last year, went 4 for 4 on his field goal attempts for this team last year. So hopefully he can continue his perfect streak as a Titan. Defensive back Marcus Harris, the rookie. Edge Arden Key will be out, meaning it'll be a 3-man rotation. There was not a call-up from the practice squad, so you'll be seeing a whole lot, primarily of
Tremont Jones,
Femi, and Jihad Ward as those guys on the edge for the Titans today. A big spot for them. A couple of linemen down. Blake Hance, the Titans do it all, swing, guard / tackle, and rookie UDFA tackle Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, both down today. With those two down and John Ajuku waived yesterday, was he waived? Yes. On Saturday? The Titans' offensive line situation looks a little different. You're going to be, obviously, J.C. Latham back. That's a good different for the Titans. But then you'll have Oli Udo as your swing backup tackle. And Jackson Slater is your primary swing guard, or Corey Levin is your swing guard if they potentially decide to. He's been versatile at guard and center, so those two guys on the inside. Needless to say, we saw a lot of tackle-eligible plays from the Titans last week, an uptick in that department. If you see it today, it'll probably be a lot of Oli Udo eligible. So that kind of rounds out that situation. And then at receiver, one more week for Bryce Oliver. Spoke to him in the locker room this week. He's excited to get back. He's close to getting back. He's expected back next week. And then tight end Thomas Odukoya, who was elevated but then is a game day inactive. So that's who's up and down today. JT, what's your 10,000-foot view on this game? Do we want to go ahead and ask our question of the audience? Or do we want to? Okay, this is basically what I want to talk about before we get into some X-Golf X Factors and some bets and some game predictions. Is this a must-win game for the Titans? Let's send that question in the comments real quick, but that's how we'll frame this conversation. Of course, winning in miraculous fashion last week. The win itself, fluky. Of course, the difference between the win and the loss took a million things happening for them that you could never, ever, ever bet on happening again. The uptick in production from the Titans offense, however, the final 3 drives on which they scored and moved the ball, I wouldn't say at will, but at a much more efficient rate than they had at any point earlier in the game, and really not at any point this year so far. That part's real, right? The Cardinals did not gift them that. So they're going to try to carry that into this game. And with the Mike Vrabel game, I just saw Mike Vrabel's big old face on my screen on one of the million screens here at the Landshark Bar and Grill. He's coming to town next week. We're already all gearing up for that narrative, win or lose for the Titans today. I feel like it's a pretty big difference for them going into that game between 2-4 and 1-5, not just for the coaching staff and job security and that whole narrative, but for the morale of the team. So is this and of course the spot with the Raiders? It's a road game, but this team stinks. So they have to win today, JT.
Yeah, I think you just gave a lot of answers as to why this is a must-win game, and I would have to agree with you. I think this was something that we talked about all week. First of all, even going past that and just based on what Brian Callahan and the rest of the coaching staff had to say this past week, you talk about last year when they got a big win over the Houston Texans, got back on the right side, were feeling good about themselves. I feel like you can say pretty much the same thing about the Titans in that win over the Arizona Cardinals. It wasn't pretty, but they got a win. The spirits are high. How did they come out that next game? They came out against the Washington Commanders and looked terrible. Just let them run all over them. That was the Jarvis Brownlee Jr. It's cold, even though it was 45 degrees out game.
We're never going to let him live that down. I'm sorry. He was making some plays today, by the way, for the Gang Green on my morning television
set. Also was holding on special teams.
Well,
so the more things change, the more they stay the same.
The full Jarvis experience.
But I digress. That is one of the keys, right? It's a must-win game because Brian Callahan, to put it bluntly, at the beginning, I believe in his press conference on Monday or Wednesday, said, we can't do what we did last year after a win, which is come out flat and look like a totally different team. Like we were, I remember Jeffrey Simmons said he was suffering from success.
Which was the worst thing maybe anyone said. That was somehow worse than Brownlee saying it was too cold.
Yes. But like they cannot suffer from the success that they didn't really earn themselves, right? Come out and prove it twice in a row, win back-to-back games, stack good wins for this team that is still growing. Show that you know how to win yourself, I think. Obviously, if the Raiders, they're going to give you chances to kind of they're going to give the game away. Geno Smith does not look good. Their defense outside of Max Crosby has not looked really good all season. They let the Colts, score ad nauseum on them last week. But this is a game where it's prove-it time for Brian Callahan and his messaging. And I know that there's a lot of fans who think win or lose, just fire Brian Callahan. But for him and this team, inside that locker room, it's a big deal. And I think it is a must-win game because then you talk about the narrative next week. A 2-4 game against Mike Vrabel and the Patriots, who are looking pretty like a boring football team, but a good team no less, is much better than a 1-5 game where you lose to the lowly Raiders in whatever fashion. And maybe maybe you can hedge that and go middle if they lose on like a last-second field goal or something like that.
Sure.
But just win the game today, and I think that makes it a lot better.
So your answer is yes, a must-win game. I'll share my answer in a minute, which is a little bit different. But turning to the comments, because we asked you all, is today's game against the Raiders a must-win for the Titans? Let's see. Orlando says yes, unequivocally, no question about it. Donald is just looking forward to how ugly this game is going to be to watch. It is for Callahan, says Richie G. So the coaching staff needs the win. Bustin' Diamond says absolutely it is a must-win. Eric on the other side of the coin, no, but it sure helps momentum going into the Vrabel game. Guy Man, all caps, yes. Yes from Stefan. No from John. Coaching staff will still be fired at the end of the season. Oh, so win or lose. He thinks they could win the rest of the season and he'd still be fired. Interesting take from John. Vanessa says this is a windbreaker. Is this a windbreaker?
I believe so.
Okay, yes, Vanessa.
I think that's what you call
Billy
it.
says no, not a must-win. William says yes, must-win game. Zach says every game's must-win. We have to get into that mindset. Well, there's something to that, the winning mindset that the team needs to adopt for sure. Andrew, at this point of the season, considering how it's gone, yes, this is a must-win game. Eric agrees. Every game is a must-win game at this point for the Titans. Nick says no for standings, but yes for progress and development. So my answer is it a must-win? No. That would be betraying the way that I felt before the season, that this season's not about wins and losses. For the coaching staff, you could argue that it is, but that's not really what to me, I'm taking this question to mean for the Titans as an organization, not for just the players, not for just the coaches, not for just Amy Adams Strong, not for just the fans. For the future of the team, is this a must-win? And I don't feel like it really gets close to that territory because coming into the season, we said it wasn't about the wins and losses. Now, what today is a must, it is a must not start the way you did against the Commanders last year,
yes.
Right? The way that they came out and were down by 4 touchdowns in literally the blink of an eye. In the first 20 minutes of game play, of game clock, they should have been down 31-0 if not for a missed, relatively short field goal by the Commanders. You cannot do that. You cannot come out and make us wonder if you were suffering from success, which is absolutely ridiculous. So it needs to be competitive, obviously. And I feel like they expect to win because I think that they should expect to win in this game. And to the commenter's question, or the point a minute ago that I'm forgetting your name, I apologize. The idea of adopting a must-win mindset every week's the Super Bowl mindset for this team is something that would go a long way for, I don't know if you want to call it culture, I don't know if you want to call it growth and maturity of the team, but like that element, that intangible element of this locker room is something that they need to adopt. So I hope that they feel that way. But narratively, I don't feel like it's quite must win. If they do win, it's a big boost for them going into what's going to be talked about probably in the same way against the Patriots. Maybe not a must win because that Patriots team is at the moment looking like they're going to come in at 4-2 to the Titans 2-4, 1-5. But it's going to feel like a must show up game no matter what, because the narrative in that one is just undeniable.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think that there's a lot of opportunity to win. We talked about it all week, right?
Of course.
This is a game that we here are sitting that is a must-win game and is a very winnable game for against the Raiders. And the Raiders analysts, I'm sure, are thinking that it's the same for them, right?
Of course.
They're saying, look at the lowly Titans.
Yep.
This is a bounce-back spot, a get-right spot for Geno Smith.
If you can't do it here, you can't do it, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
And so, as much as I'm saying this, a lot of other people are saying it for the other side. So
let's get to our X factors. Let's talk about how they can win that game. And that is brought to you by our friends over at X Golf Nashville. This is the spot to go, whether you're just wanting to sharpen your game or maybe you're putting together a corporate event. Our friends at X Golf, 4 locations now in the area: Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hermitage, and now open in Franklin. You can find an X Golf in any of those locales. They're the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, entertain at playxgolf.com. They've reinvented the player experience by creating the most accurate indoor golf simulators on the market today, giving every person the power to take on the world's top courses, compete in a wide variety of game formats, and improve their swing with lessons and superior analytics, all while being totally entertained. new Monday Night Football leagues are starting later this fall, so come compete for prizes and bragging rights while watching Monday Night Football on one of their 10 big screen TVs. They got a great setup for you. You can find league details at playxgolf.com. And of course, if you've got a holiday party, a corporate event coming up, that's also a great idea, turning out at X Golf for one of those. So check them out. 4 locations: Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hermitage, and now open in Franklin. JT, we asked in the comments, what is your X Golf X Factor for the Titans to win this game? We will turn to your answers here in just a minute. Would you like to go first? What is your X factor? Are you on the offensive or the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I'll go with the defensive side of the ball. Listen, once again, the Titans last year against the Washington Commanders after their last win came out flat against the run specifically. Now, they don't have a Jaden Daniels. They're not facing one of those, right? But they were facing a Brian Robinson. Well, you're facing a much better running back today in terms of Ashton Genty. And I know last week we talked about the Titans kind of played 4 quarters of football, or some sort of version of 4 quarters of good football at times, but they never, the dam kind of never broke, except on the one play that ended up changing the entire narrative. So now it's not just an Amari DeMarcado when they sell out the run and he throws the ball away. Now you're going up against probably one of the best running back prospects in the last decade in Ashton Genty. The X factor for me is you got to stop him no matter what. Like, you can let L'Jarius Sneed in the secondary go one-on-one, man-to-man, take away them as much as possible. But this game won't matter, and they won't ever be able to even have a chance of winning if they do not try to sell out and stop Ashton Genty. Because if they let the dam break like they have in a couple of these other games, it's not gonna work for them today.
I agree. Sorry, not to be distracted here, but the Dolphins just manufactured a pathetic comeback over the Chargers with another Ghost of Darren Waller touchdown. I don't understand what's going on there, but the Chargers full meltdown mode here, barring a missed extra point. My X Golf X factor, to get back to the Titans, offensive side of the ball, a layup of an X factor. It's J.C. Latham.
Yeah.
He's coming back for the first time. He's hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, going to complete a game this season, and he's got one heck of a welcome back present waiting for him in Max Crosby. Max Crosby is one of, if not the premier pass rushers. Excuse me, let me rephrase. He is a premier pass rusher in the league. He is one of, if not the only one of those guys who primarily lines up against the right tackle. He mixes and matches a little bit, so Dan Moore won't be completely avoiding him, but It'll be mostly JC today. And so if there were a game, only one game on this Titans schedule where you absolutely must have a starting caliber right tackle, it was this one. So very good news that he's back for this one, and I'm not surprised this is the one they wanted him back for. But he needs to hit the ground running. He needs to look like he did in the first 2.5 quarters in Denver before he got hurt. And of course, it goes without saying, he needs to not re-injure that and re-aggravate that injury of his hip. And that's not something that is necessarily in his control, but he needs to put that behind him. That's what they hope this amount of time off is going to allow him to do. And it's going to allow Cam Ward, not to reinforce bad habits necessarily, but we know Cam has been holding the ball a little bit too long in these games. I think JC is only going to help what's the right way to say this? Help him get away with that more often than maybe he has in the past, which again, we want him to be throwing the ball faster, but if he's not going to do that overnight, if he's not going to shave a quarter of a second off of his average time to throw in one game, which is a big ask for a rookie, like it's a slow progress, having JC in there to help will be a very, very big deal. I'll send you to the comments. What are some folks in the comments saying their X factor is?
Yeah, X factor. Eric says X factor is whatever they did in the fourth quarter against the Cardinals. Just do that.
That's a good point. Write that
down. Stefan says Big Jeff needs to continue to do his thing. I absolutely agree there. Let's see. James says stopping the run and feeding Pollard and Spears. I think that's also continue to lean into the run game because it's been super successful. Eric says run defense. Don't give Geno any room to breathe. Billy says, just frankly, catch the damn ball, which I think is fair.
Sure.
This team needs to not have as many drops as they have in the last couple of games. Corey says block Crosby, which you just alluded to. I don't think there's anybody else who could go up against Max Crosby. It's good to have him back this week. Vanessa says they need to tackle better. Rick Goodman says, JC, Latham, and Jeff Simmons, we need to stop Max Crosby and force Chino to throw some more picks. Eric says Max Crosby has a wicked full body. As things are happening around here a lot now, as we get down to the last part of the game, I'm sure you heard. Let's see.
I don't even know what game was that.
I have no idea.
Okay.
But LC Oliver, X Factor, line of scrimmage. The Titans, for better or for worse, last week, they won in the trenches. In the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, they won both sides of the trenches. And that kind of constituted their win and how they got there.
Yes.
If they do that again this week, I think you're going to find that they have a lot of success.
Agreed. So let's get to our best bets, because I want to talk about the Titans stopping the run a little bit. We're going to talk about Genty's, a prop of Genty's that I really, really like today that I'd love the Titans to prove me wrong about, but frankly, I'm not sure that I will be. This segment brought to you by our friends at BTA Sports, Better for Betters. Check them out. Use code ATOZ14 when you download the BTA Sports app today to get a 14-day free trial before a weekly subscription of $9.99. Use that link in the show description. That is the easiest way to sign up for and use the BTA Sports app. Smart bets, no guesswork. It's Better for Betters, where insight meets instinct. It delivers data-driven NFL picks, tools, and projections built for serious fans and smart bettors. We've got a bet courtesy of them coming up right now. So, JT, tell the folks about what BTA Sports is recommending we back today.
Yeah, once again, we've been pretty good with our BTAs, even though the Titans have been terrible. Outside of Calvin Ridley dropping a few, BTA has really helped us out. And yet again, we're going to go back to them this week and go Tony Pollard. We went receiving yards last week, which hit. But we're going to go rushing yards this time. We're going to go, currently his over-under is 53.5. We're going to go over 53.5 rushing yards for Tony Pollard. That, according to BTA Sports, has a 71% chance to hit. I like it. Once again, they're going to continue to ease Tyjae Spears back in little by little. But you look at outside of what they have in Max Crosby, this Titans team should not have a problem running against this Raiders defense. And so I think that this is a good bet. I'm putting my money where my mouth is as well and riding with it. You should too. Once again, that is Tony Pollard over 53.5.
Take a look at this, JT. I agree with that. I think that the Titans they want to lean into their run game more today if they can maintain either a lead or be neck and neck, like just not trailing. That game script doesn't really allow for it, but they have been really efficient running the ball, and they want to run more. They just need to set themselves up to be able to by starting hot. On the other side of the ball, I tweeted this earlier today. I'm taking Ashton Genty longest rush over 16.5 rushing yards. Looking at the Titans' run defense this year, by week, it's the first of the two numbers in the slash on your screen right here. They have allowed a 50-yarder, a 45-yarder, a 46-yarder, an 18-yarder, and a 71-yarder in each of their first 5 weeks. All 5 weeks, they have allowed a rush over 17 yards, which is where that line is set today for Ashton Genty. For Genty's part, the rookie started slower in week 1, longest rush of 9, longest rush of 13, but then in week 3, long rush of 18, week 4, long rush of 64, and then week 5, long rush of 12. So part of that Vegas line obviously being held down by the fact that Genty hasn't broken a ton, but
there's a team to do it against.
Exactly. I'm going to continue to fade the Titans' run defense in this way until they prove me wrong. Maybe the only bet I gave out last week was Amari DiMercato over longest rush, which was like 9.5 yards.
Yep.
Obviously, he septupled that, I think. So
he ruined some people's over longest rush and anytime touchdown.
He did do that, but if you were smart like me and just took the over longest rush, you were in good shape.
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to take there. And then one more prop for you. I like Cam Ward under 32.5 pass attempts today. I do think that the Titans are going to want to lean into the run more. Goes hand in hand with your pick from BTA Sports. It's why I think that if they keep this game close and stay within the pocket of the game script they want to be in, Cam Ward won't throw the ball quite as much as he has in some of these trailing game scripts. So those are our picks. We've got Tony Pollard over rushing yards. We've got over Ashton Genty longest rush. And we have got under Cam Ward pass attempts for you. That brings us to our final segment. We've got about 4 minutes before kickoff in Titans Raiders. And this is our game predictions. So let's send that question in the chat, JT. Everyone like the show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is the right time to do it. And let's ask who wins, Titans or Raiders. Titans 4-point dogs on the road. Both teams 1-4. looking to get their first win. We'll turn to you guys in the comments here in just a minute. Shout out to our friends here at the Land Shark Bar and Grill for hosting us once again. Love being here each and every Sunday all season long. JT, I'll start with you while some folks get to answer. Who wins today and by how much?
I'm going to keep going with the Titans can only win or lose games by silly numbers. No 14, no 2 touchdowns, no 17, no 21. I think the Titans score 28 points today which I guess is not that bad of a number.
That's
but 28.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, 28. And I'm sure Matthew Wright's going to kick 3 field goals. 28 to 23 Titans.
28 to 23 Titans. You've got them winning and covering, obviously. I am going to say
they broke your curse last week.
Yeah, I know. I'm struggling because last week I had an embargo on myself for picking the Titans until they won a game. They then won, so the embargo is lifted. But
Are you going to do it?
Should I continue to say that they're going to lose? No, I'm going to show a little faith, and if they burn me, then I'll be mad at them in the postgame show. I'll say Titans win. I will say they win 24 to 22.
Okay. So some higher scoring games for both.
Yep, and so it's going to be a slogfest if they lose, naturally.
Yes.
Let's turn to the comments. What are folks saying this game will end up as?
Yeah, COS says 23-27. I don't know if he means Titans.
Y'all got to specify who you think are going to win.
Guy says 9-6 Raiders. Corey says 24-21 Titans in a walk-off. Let's go,
nice.
He says. Matt Wilson says 24-10 Titans. Billy says 23-21 Titans. Jake Hughes 34-14 Titans.
Wow.
I'm assuming he thinks Cam Ward is just going to be unlocked finally. Shane says Titans 20-13. Jensen says Titans by 6. LC Oliver 20-17 Titans. Eric says 24-17 Titans. Titans finally score over 21 points, which I think they did last week anyways to win that game.
Yes.
So it's math right there. Shane says Raiders 20-14. KB says Titans 17-6. Stefan says 24-17 Titans. And Ko says Titans by 3. So he comes back and redeems himself there. So.
All right. So hopefully the Titans do secure the win, and we get to talk about how they are on a 2-game win streak. We'll be back here at halftime for a hot and heavy 12-ish minutes of chaos. And then in the post-game show, maybe we'll even get to head on down to the Tiki Room today. We'll see. Keep it locked. Join us here at the Land Shark Bar and Grill. It's not too late to come join us as some of the crazies here are ringing their cowbells, making a lot of noise. It's a great time. Shout out to Traveler Whiskey. Shout out to Miller Lite for game day drink specials. Margaritaville on 4th and Broadway. Come upstairs and you'll find us here at the Land Shark Bar and Grill. We'll be back at halftime. Keep it locked and enjoy the first half of Titans Raiders.